recording in 5. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the June 2022 meeting of the Montgomery County Civic Federation. My name is Alan Bowser. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We're going to dispense with going around the horn and having everybody introduce themselves. And we're going to get right to our program after we do some association federation business. And the first thing we want to do is approve the meeting agenda for tonight. That agenda is on page 2 of the Civic Federation newsletter. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been first and second. In any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next thing is the approval of the minutes. And the minutes are in the June newsletter. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the May 9th general meeting of the Civic Federation. Somebody want to make that motion? Somebody want to make that?
To approve.
Thank you. Is there a second? It's been first and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 The minutes of the May 9th, 2022 meeting have been approved. Thank you very much. Before we get started with our program, I want to do 2 things. I want to express our appreciation, the executive committee's appreciation to all of the Civic Federation members and their delegates for all the hard work that we've done over the last year under difficult circumstances. I also want to thank the executive committee on behalf of myself, and that would be Joshua Montgomery, our first vice president, Elizabeth Joyce, our second vice president, Karen Cordry, our secretary, Jerry Garson, our treasurer, Jackie Boko, the newsletter editor, Sue Schumacher, who is on our executive committee, and Bailey Condry, who is our immediate past president. Thank you all. I want to just make this announcement in case I don't get a chance to do this at the end of our program. Next Monday, we are having our own Council at Large forum, candidates forum. So that'll be at this time on this channel. We'll send around another reminder. All but one of the County Council at Large candidates have accepted our invitation, and that's 7 of them. So it'll be a very interesting conversation. If you have questions you'd like to ask the candidates, please email me or any member of our executive committee, or post them to our Facebook page, or somehow get them to us. We want to extend this public service before the July 19th primary election. So without further ado, and as I mentioned before we began the recording, we might be joined by Congressman Jamie Raskin, who would like to participate in our awards program. I told him that he could join us at any time between 7:30 and 8:30. And so if we're in the midst of something, please be patient. Let's let Jamie come and inspire us with his good words about all our good works, and then we'll get back to our program. So without further ado, we want to, Jerry, the treasurer's report, Jerry.
You want the treasurer's report?
Yes.
We operate on a fiscal year starting July 1st, 2021 through June 13th. We've had membership dues of $1,387. We've had expenses of $1,438, giving us an excess expenditures of $52. Our current bank balance is $8,937, and we've gotten $20 worth of dues through PayPal in the last 30 days. I'd like to remind everyone, if you'd like to join us for fiscal year 2022, which starts on July 1, we appreciate you paying the dues either electronically or by check. Thank you.
And we have an article about our new membership software, and some information about membership in the newsletter, which should have been available to most people. It's also available on our Facebook page. It's not expensive and you get so much. Yeah, please feel free to use the chat to shout out your favorite honorees. And let's have fun. This is not a serious program. This is a joyful celebration for some of our hardest working people and our best friends. Nice to see you, Paige. So we're going to start this evening with I'm going to share a screen. It's not going to be that exciting. The screen that I'm sharing. Not going to be may not be very exciting at all because I can't even find it. If you saw the screen, you would see a picture of Liz Joyce, who is the recipient of the 2022 Star Cup. And for those of you who read the information, the Star Cup is awarded to the Federation delegate or committee performing the most outstanding public service on behalf of Montgomery County. And this year, the Civic Federation is proud to recognize Elizabeth Joyce of Silver Spring. We have a lengthy appreciation for Liz in the newsletter. But without further ado, I'd like to thank Liz on behalf of the Federation and all of our delegates, and ask her if she would say a few words about whatever she'd like to talk about. And if I could find that picture, I will make that picture available. Liz.
I will indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ellen. I am so touched by awarded last year to Lewis Willen, whose amazing work got the state to return millions of dollars to deserving county residents in need. To be part of this legacy is a great gift that I will always treasure. To those who haven't been following our county's zoning issues, I want to stress how much credit Alan and the executive committee deserve. Under their leadership, and frankly at some risk, they stood up for the public interest and helped untangle a steady stream of confusing messages about county zoning proposals. It has been such a privilege to work with the Civic Federation and other groups to give the county access to the professional skills, research, many of our members. Much work remains to be done, but I've been proud to be part of it. I am so grateful to the executive committee for this honor, and even more so to all of you for the generous support I've received from you. You have no idea how much this honor means to me, and I thank you so very much.
Thank you, Liz. We're so happy to have you. Let's give Liz a virtual round of applause. Okay, so as you can see, I finally found that screen. Our next presentation is to McKinney Hills, Carroll Knolls, a Civic Association, and that's not it, is it? There we go. We've asked technology challenge over here. We've asked Joshua Montgomery to introduce our awardees from McKinney Hills, Carroll Knolls. Joshua.
So McKinney Hills, Carroll Knolls was a sleepy little civic association a few years back with some revitalization and some new board members. We jumped at the opportunity through COVID to kind of reestablish and rebuild ourselves as a civic association. We had some exciting new members, exciting new committee chairs, Maggie Flowers, Carrie Murray, Dave Coyne, all of which who started off as secretary and treasurer and then moved into president and vice president this year. And what was Dave, Maggie? I'm sorry. He was the membership committee chair and he moved into secretary this year, and they've jumped at the opportunity to grow the Civic Association even more. They have some super exciting events planned for the next year. If you guys have not seen, we'll post some of our events, so maybe you guys can stop by. Without further ado, I want to introduce Maggie Flowers, who is the Vice President of McKenney Hills Carroll Knolls, to accept the Sentinel Award. Are you there, Maggie?
She's here somewhere. There you are, Maggie.
Awesome. Hello.
Hi.
Really excited. Hi. Thank you, guys. This is wonderful. We are really excited when we heard about it, and I really appreciate getting the chance to be here on behalf of the board and the whole Civic Association. It's been really fun to get involved, especially during the pandemic, to really get out and get to know our neighbors outside in a safe environment. It's been really fun, and our next event is July 17th. It's our big block party, so hopefully folks can come by. Last year, it was our biggest one yet. I think we had around 150 neighbors come out and have some ice cream and celebrate the new normal that we're living through. So thank you all.
Well, thank you very much, Maggie, on behalf of McKenney Hills Carroll Knolls. We are glad to have Joshua Montgomery join us in our Civic Federation Executive Committee. He's told us of your activities, your amazing activities, and your good works. And we're looking forward to hearing more about McKenney Hills Carroll Knolls Civic Association at our September meeting, when we're going to try to highlight some of the things that you've done as best practices for other civic associations and homeowners associations around the county. So we are awarding the 2022 Sentinel Award to the McKenney Hills Carroll Knolls Civic Association for significant contributions to good government at the local level. And we know that you have a lot on your plate, which includes traffic and pedestrian safety and tree canopy issues. And we look forward to learning more about how you've addressed some of those issues on behalf of your neighborhood. So thank you very much, Maggie. Our next award is going to, let's see if this works. Our next award is going to Amanda Farber of the East Bethesda Citizens Association. She is the 2022 recipient of the Wayne Goldstein Award. And what can I tell you about the Wayne Goldstein Award? The Wayne Goldstein Award, formerly known as the Gazette Award and the Journal Cup, recognizes outstanding public service contributions by an individual or group in Montgomery County. The Montgomery County Civic Federation is pleased to honor Amanda Farber with the 2022 Wayne Goldstein Award. I've been privileged to work with Amanda on, it seems like, dozens of good deeds and important activities, and we could not be happier to recognize her this evening with the Wayne Goldstein Award. Let me turn it over to you, Amanda, and thank you for everything that you do on behalf of the county.
Well, thank you, Alan. And I do have a couple words prepared for this. First is that I regret that my path and Wayne's path never directly crossed. But I am so honored that our paths are crossing now through this award. I'm also humbled to be in the company of other individuals and organizations who've received this award over the years. And I was looking at old photos of Wayne in action. And the first thing that I noticed was his signature smile. I could see how he was able to sway people with that smile. And then behind that smile, he was smart, trusted, tenacious, and really able to make a true civic difference. Reading about the many land use and historic preservation projects he was involved with was truly inspiring. And then you said we could have a little fun with this. So Wayne was also known for wearing his signature hats. So I thought I would wear a hat in his honor. No, I'm not usually a hat wearer, but here we go. And this hat was given to me as a gift. And there's something special about this hat. You see that? Hopefully I'm not blinding anyone. But this hat lights up and it shines a light on things. And shining a light on issues is what so much civic advocacy is about. And a little extra light can be helpful when going down the rabbit holes trying to find solutions. And I've met many of you deep in those rabbit holes. So, okay, I'm gonna turn the light off for now, but I'll keep the hat on. When asked to sum up my own advocacy style, I said patience plus persistence combined with a little humor and a lot of kindness. And I know you all, a lot of you have that same style. So I hope Wayne would be proud of this approach. But successful advocacy always takes a team effort. There's so many amazing and dedicated advocates in this county. So I just wanted to acknowledge some of the wonderful volunteer organizations that I've been fortunate enough to be associated with over the years. First, Conservation Montgomery, just celebrating its 12th year, educating and advocating for tree canopy and forest conservation in the county. And that's actually how Alan and I met many years ago. And I'm just going to put in a quick plug that we're working with the MoCo Forest Coalition on laws that will are before the planning board and the council that will hopefully strengthen our forest conservation law. So stay tuned for more information about that. Second, a shout out to Safe Healthy Playing Fields, which provides education and advocacy for modern, safe, cool, natural grass athletic fields and playgrounds. Next, the Bethesda Implementation Advisory Committee, which works on the implementation of the Downtown Bethesda Plan. And as many on this Zoom know, I'm sure very well, master plans on paper often require continued citizen advocacy in order for the county to deliver on the promises that are in those plans. And then finally, I just want to acknowledge the awesome East Bethesda Citizens Association, because civic associations like EBCA and like so many others in this county play a crucial role, particularly in unincorporated areas. We're a county of over 1 million people. We've got more residents than our nearest cities, DC and Baltimore. After the last census, we've got more residents than 6 states. And people want to feel connected to their community and to the elected decision makers. And so civic associations can really help bridge those connections. Lastly, of course, I would like to thank the Civic Federation. So here we go. Hats off to you and to all the civic advocates out there. Thank you. And I hope to see everybody at the at-large forum next week.
Thank you so much, Amanda. It's a pleasure to work with you, and you do so much for the county. Yes, you guys know Glenn Orland, who has worked and is working for the county council. He called her an exemplar for citizen activism in Montgomery County, and she really is amazing. We've got a couple of people raise their hands, and so let's see. Karen, would you like to say something?
Sure. I would just say that as someone who did have occasion to run across Wayne because he was from my civic association area, I'm sure he'd be very proud of you, Amanda, and I'm sure he'd also be proud of the other award winners. It's been a great year, and a lot of people putting in a lot of hard work on unusual and strange situations and circumstances, but we're continuing to do our job of staying on top of these things. So cheers to all. And the hat's great. Wayne would love it.
Wayne had a ponytail too, which really was a distinguishing characteristic for him. Peggy, did you want to say something?
Yes, I'd like Amanda to shed a little light on the significance of the traffic lights that she's holding in the picture.
Oh yeah, there's a whole story behind those traffic lights.
Oh, do tell.
Okay, well, I noticed them dumped, a whole bunch of traffic lights dumped on a essentially vacant property right in the middle of downtown Bethesda. And it took well over a year, lots and lots of emails, begging and pleading, and talking to land use attorneys, property owner, park and planning personnel, to try to get my hands on those. I actually got 2 of those traffic lights. They couldn't figure out who dumped them there. They think it was left over from an SHA project. But I got my hands on them because my dad is a sculptor. And so he is going to be making some creations out of them, putting them to good use and turning them into art. So that's the story with the traffic lights. And I had a lot of fun getting them, and hopefully they'll be everyone can see the sculptures when they're done.
I was curious, are they heavy?
Not too bad. It was lighter than I thought they would be.
No, okay, because I was wondering about it. It looked like it would weigh like 500 pounds and didn't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I was able to lift it. So that tells you something.
Okay, I see we're joined by Troy Murtha. Troy is a young man who's running for county council in District 4, 27 years old, could be the youngest county council person we've ever had, candidate. And welcome, Troy, and thank you for showing interest in the Civic Fed and our awardees this evening. Anybody else want to say anything about our awardees? I was hoping that we'd have Jamie join us by now, because we don't really have too much more to do in our meeting this evening, which will let everybody get back to Chris Hayes' show and the baseball games around the country.
And I would just like to say also that I'm honored to be up here on this screen with Elizabeth, because I've gotten to know her over the last, gosh, maybe 2 or so years, and really appreciate a lot of the work that she has done. So
Back
thank you,
at
Liz.
you, back at you, Amanda. You were amazing, and we have done some great things, and we'll continue to do them with your spirit and your inspiration. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
No, I
Alan,
get,
maybe for those of us who didn't read the newsletter, maybe give us a little bit about what Liz has done over this year to warrant the Star Cup, since that's our big, at least large size award. Let's talk a little bit more about what Liz actually did this year.
This is my first foray into anything but women's issues. I am a past president of Montgomery County now, Montgomery County Commission for Women. I've served on the board of the Maryland Legislative Agenda for Women. I'm a past vice president for communications of the Women's National Democratic Club, and most of my work obviously has been in these areas. But just out of curiosity, a neighbor who was getting an MBA started sharing with me some insights about proposals that were going on in zoning, and she was troubled by them because she's a numbers person, and they didn't add up to her, and she was trying to sort things out. And I got curious, and I just started researching, and I haven't stopped since. But it's fascinating. We have the fact-based, in my view, as happens in politics so much, the fact-based contingent and the agenda-driven contingent. And the Civic Federation, in my view, has done a great deal to contribute to the fact-based contribution to this discussion. And I'm really proud of it, because we can't make good public policy without data, information, and insights from the people who know these issues. This is a political issue, but above all, it's a public policy issue involving billions of dollars. And to the extent that we can help create a more helpful and, as I say, data-driven approach, we will have made a huge contribution. And so many of us have weighed in on this. And I'm just very proud of what we've done, and the fact that Alan and the whole executive committee were willing to stick their necks out to say, wait a minute, let's step back and look at these issues and try to sort out what is important and what we need to do going forward. And that's what we've been doing. And I'm just, so thrilled with all the people I've met and all the good, sincere efforts that people have been making to try to get to a better place on this and other issues.
Yeah, thank you so much, Liz. I did mention in the write-up that you are a very gifted writer, and you've helped so many people this year communicate their issues to a broader public. And I think we've helped, raise the level of conversation and educate people about a lot of important issues that are really complicated. I can just say at this point, one of our legislative priorities this year was to get the county council to pass an appropriation for something called the Office of the People's Council. This would have been an advocate for residents like ourselves who are interested in these issues. The county executive recommended it, but unfortunately, the county council did not approve it. We're going to go back to them and try to get in a supplemental, because we'd like to balance the playing field between money and interest in the county and resident interests. I see that Kerry Lamari has raised his hand. Kerry, would like to say something.
Yeah, I would. Both Amanda and Liz worked very hard the past couple of years, and if it weren't for them, I don't think we, Karen,
Sorry.
I don't think we would have come as far as we did with Thrive and the Attainable Housing Initiative. The fact that their efforts actually, I think, led the way to we needed a racial equity social justice report. And I personally would like to thank the two of them. I have enjoyed working with them. I think and what more can I say? God bless you and thank you.
Heck at you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we really are
Thank you,
blessed.
Carrie.
We're really blessed. I'm looking across the screen, and there are a lot of hardworking activists on this call. So thank you all for what you do. It doesn't stop during the summer. It doesn't stop in 2020, 2022. We have to continue to work, because as you know, there's a dozen issues which require our close attention and a lot of our time. Does anybody else want to say anything about our honorees this evening, or anything else? Jerry Garson, please.
Are we going to do committee reports?
We will do committee reports if you'd like, after we say goodbye to our guests who don't want to hear the committee report.
Okay.
But thank you all so much for joining us this evening as we recognize the McKinney Hills Carroll Knolls Civic Association, Amanda Farber, and Liz Joyce for all of their good works and their examples for all of us. For those of you who are going to jump off the call, I just want to make a couple of remarks. We have a monthly newsletter. We don't publish during the summer. We do publish from September to June. Jackie Boko has been our newsletter. She's amazing. If any of you would like to submit a letter or an article for the newsletter, please do. We accept almost everything. So if you'd like to do that, we encourage you to do that. If you want to have a regular feature in our newsletter, we would consider that as well. We are always looking for new officers for the Civic Federation. We have a half dozen standing committees. We have our regular officers. I am term limited in 2022, so we'll be looking for new executive officers. So if anybody wants to step up as an at-large member of the Civic Fed, as a committee chair or co-chair, we welcome you to do that. If you have somebody you'd like to suggest, please let us know about that. Somebody said the hardest job of a Civic Federation president is finding the next president of the Civic Federation. So that's where I am right now. Paige, you'd be great. You would be. I think you would be great. Marty, you would be great too. And then if there's any issues you'd like us to focus on with our monthly programs, we are trying to decide whether or not we're going to go quickly back to in-person or we're going to do a hybrid experiment for a while. If you have issues you'd like us to discuss in the next year, please let us know. We'll start working on them now. And last but not least, if you know of a civic association or homeowners association best practice that you'd like to share with the broader community, please let us know and feature it. One of the takeaways that I had from during the worst part of the pandemic is how creative our neighbors are. And one of the things that was really interesting was the explosion of food trucks and how neighbors have sort of brought the food truck phenomena into their neighborhoods. And lots of people are doing that right now. And Ira's looking for best practices with neighborhood watches. That's the kind of thing we are talking about. So if you can make a contribution to help our work, the more the merrier. We'd like to expand our membership through associations, large and small, all parts of the county. Some parts are not well represented. We'd like to have everybody represented. And before we end this section of the program, Peggy Dennis, you have something to say? Peggy?
Yes. Will we be having an executive committee meeting on Thursday, June 23rd?
Yes, we will.
Okay, one of the things I'd like.
Unless that's the second evening hearing of the January 6th committee, and then we will make an adjustment.
Alternative date. Something I'd like us to consider is something that we had been planning to do 3 or 4 years ago, which was to have a program or maybe a half-day meeting on how to create strong and vibrant neighborhood organizations and how to use the community toolbook, which I believe is still around.
Excellent idea. We should do that. Another thing that we're contemplating, haven't thought too much about it because preoccupied with elections, and this awards program is some people are really interested in having a tree summit because a lot of neighborhoods are concerned about tree canopy, loss of tree canopy from development, from projects like the Purple Line. And Lori Charkoudian, who is one of our District 20 delegates, has offered to help us put together a high-level, broad-based summit focused on trees. Karen Cordry, your hand is up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if we are thinking about doing the September meeting about civic associations and good practices and things like that, that sounds like this meeting that Peggy was just talking about those could tie in together. One could be a teaser for the next one, or you could do the half day and be reported on at the September meeting, something like that. So I would just think we would want to think about those two things in tandem.
Great idea. Thank you for that. Don't forget to remind us.
I'll put it in the minutes.
Okay, that's great. Anybody else have anything? Dick, please. Richard Caffinger, did you want to say something here? I thought your hand was up. Okay. Anybody else? Well, not see anybody else. Thank you all for joining our awards program this evening, and congratulations again to our wonderful honorees. Those of you who'd like to stay on for a few minutes, listen to some Civic Federation business, we would be glad to have you. That part of the business doesn't take very long. So thank you all for joining us. And as I said, this recording will be online either later this evening, early tomorrow morning. So thank you very much. And
Peggy wants to say something.
Yes, please. The thought of the tree summit ties in perfectly with a project that I've been working on as part of the Orphan Roads lady. And that is, there's a little road up in Olney called Kirk Lane, which wants very much to have the county come in and build their road properly. Right now, it's a disaster area. It's just mud and ruts. They went through the whole process set up by us back 8 or 9 years ago. and ended up not being able to get the necessary majority of homeowners buying into the project because the project was going to require 150 trees be taken out so that DOT could create large swales on either side of the road. I had to think about this for a few years, and that community is now eligible to reapply for construction. And I am trying to make a case that instead of having a 20-foot wide road with 10 or 15-foot wide swales on either side, DOT should look at having a 20-foot wide road with curbs, gutters, and storm drains right under the edge of the road, which would save all of the 100 tree and Montgomery Conservation and as many different groups as I can to get DOT to consider this, because they think inside their little engineer's box and the way they've always done things. And I know they have to look outside the box and find a new and better way of building roads when small communities want them.
A great idea, Peggy. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. If there's no other comments, let's adjourn this portion of our meeting. And
before we go, a hip hip hooray for Alan, who has also done a fantastic job, as the comments point out.
yay, Alan. And thank you all. I see some new faces on here. Maybe many of them are from East Bethesda. I want to give a shout out to Gene Walker from our Park Hills neighborhood in East Silver Spring. We have, this is a good group of people. Sometimes it's larger, sometimes it's smaller. Encourage all of you to sort of follow our work, and we look forward to seeing you in September. Those people who would like to stay on and talk about some of our committee issue areas, please do. Otherwise, the rest of you are excused. Thank you very much.